Howdy y'all, and welcome to another World of Warships replay with Bogatir. Alright, today we're going to be taking my New Mexico out for a spin on Estuary. Alright, what we've got here is a technically Tier 7 match, but the only Tier 7s we've got are a pair of cruisers, or a cruiser on each team and a destroyer on each team. So Tier 6 in pretty much all respects, which is a good thing. New Mexico loves being top tier. So, start off by letting everybody know that I'm going to be heading towards A, because, who knows? Teamwork. Sometimes it happens. And set course. Crank up my speed a little bit because, well, the New Mexico is a standard battleship, so she is absolutely as slow as Christmas. As you can see, on both teams have a pair of New Mexicos, which is kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever been in a match where I've had two New Mexicos on each side, so expect lots of futile long-range fire and hopefully a couple close-in brawls. So crank up the match, get going, and we're going to start off actually with one of the Clevelands on my team volunteers to head over towards the ACAP with us, which is nice. A little bit of teamwork. Admittedly, it's in a match with no aircraft carriers, so okay, hey, destroyer escort, why not? And we set sail and head on over towards A. Now, I really do like Estuary, and part of the reason is you wind up with four essentially arenas, north, south, east, and west, and you can get a little crossfire over the mountains, but it's kind of difficult, so you've really got to sail in close. So for most locations, this really suits the New Mexico because you've got to get right up in somebody's face. The sole exception is over there on the far east. Over on that cap, the D cap, you just wind up with a lot of long range fire and not much cover, and that is terrible for a New Mexico. So we're going to head over towards A because I like those islands that give you a little bit of cover, and they tend to force the engagements down to closer range engagements, which, yeah, that just benefits me. So keep on sailing, and so far, few spots over towards B and A. We get our first customer. And hunting around here for a second. There we go. A Cleveland steaming full speed and not very well angled. Okay. Far be it from me to interrupt you while you're making a mistake. So shots out, and not a bad spread. Get two penetrations. Do almost 7,000 damage to him in one shot. That is not a good way to start your match as a Cleveland. Alright, so here comes in Atlanta. We have another overly ambitious cruiser, not angling very well. He is just raining armor-piercing shots in on somebody. But it's not me, and well, this guy just really needs to lesson in how to play in Atlanta. So, shots out, and he actually turns into it, and I get a single over penetration, so bleh. But I honestly really hate Atlantas when I'm driving my battleship. But this guy just does not have any clue how to drive this ship. I can only presume that he just laid out the money for this thing and is taking it out for got to be one of his first matches in it, because this is not how you play in Atlanta, because he is just melting. And okay, so I line up the shots, pull the trigger, and he just gets executed. That's a lot of money spent on the cruiser, and he got nothing out of it. So, first blood to me. Awesome. And no, I have no idea what our Nicholas was doing. Certainly not with that Atlanta that close. So, Cleveland is still over here showing broadsides because armor's for losers. And, oh, hey, look, here's our Pensacola going to show a broadside. Armor. Sometimes it just apparently armor is something that happens to somebody else. So line up a shot on this Cleveland, and before I disappear behind the island, and so does he, take a couple of quick shots at him. And again, my salvos are just not looking very good. And oh, look at this. I'm complaining about people driving their ships around like noobs, and I'm going to run my battleship aground because that island just jumped right out there in front of me, didn't it? And while I'm running aground, a Königsberg, a Mitsuki, both show up, as well as one of the enemy New Mexicos. So, yikes. Good news is I'm stuck on while I'm on the rocks, I am angled, so yeah, not that big of a deal. Take a couple shots at the Cleveland, and he is not feeling very confident either, and he gets slapped around pretty hard. In fact, at this point, he is hurting very badly. Unfortunately, what I'm doing to the enemy Cleveland, that enemy New Mexico is going to do to our Königsberg. So, getting lined up for shots at that New Mexico, and I take my own shots. And I'm trying to stay off the rocks this time, so I've got some room to maneuver, and he is turning, so pretty much everything I fire is gone. So is our Königsberg. He just got destroyed, and our Pensacola has just noped right on out of here. So right now I am the closest target to 2 enemy battleships, a cruiser, and a destroyer. Life just got very interesting. This Königsberg is running in here to grab the A-cap, and well, there is not going to be anything I'm going to be able to do about it before he gets it either. But hey, you know what? I can send him a little parting gift. And right there, hey, broadsides, why not? Good shots. Nothing. I wasn't able to punish him with a good hard citadel, but decent damage. All right. So enemy of New Mexico is taking some shots at me, not accomplishing a whole lot. Take a look over there. We've got. There is that Königsberg running away. Oh man, it's getting very, very unpleasant over here. So, and there is the other enemy, New Mexico. So, oh, joy. At this point, yeah, it is not looking good for me. So, right now I am waiting for the next shots to come in from this guy, so that I can get turned around. Oh, he's behind the island. He's pretty much behind the island. Time for me to get turned around and start putting some distance between me and these guys. Need to kite them. Let's see if I can't lob some shots in over this little spit of land. And send a few to the front side just to see if I can't get in a few lucky hits. And oh, there is the Mutsuki. 5 kilometers, which means I have got torpedoes incoming. Enemy New Mexico is unmasked, and our Pensacola is just going to have to be on his own. I can't do anything for him, and he's playing way too aggressively in something that has no armor at all. Alright, and our Pensacola is just going super aggressive after these guys, which, you know, hey, I appreciate aggressive play, but there's a limit. There's those torpedoes from the Mutsuki because, well, they were obviously incoming, so completely dodged those. My shots are not terribly effective, but now I got to worry about this Mutsuki. Designate them for my secondaries, although at this range I'm not going to be able to get anything in on them. Oh, and our Pensacola's gone as well, so now I'm out here all by my lonesome with 2 enemy battleships and a destroyer. What fun. Alright, so now I'm going to start turning and burning because I know that Mutsuki's reloading and he's sneaking around out there. I suspect he's behind that island because I just got out of line of sight. Because I know that New Mexico over there can't see me because I can't see him. Which means that Mutsuki can't see me. So I'm going to shift my course and see if I can't throw off any shots either of these guys may be trying to lob towards me. One of those things as a battleship captain, you've got to just keep turning. Keep turning, keep maneuvering. And there we go. I'm spotted, which means, yep, the Mutsuki just came out from behind the island. And unfortunately, my turrets are having a heck of a time tracking him. But hey, he makes it easier as he sets up for his first torpedo volley. Yep. If you're not used to keeping a close eye on what destroyers are doing, that right there is what it looks like when they send some torpedoes your way. So with the torpedoes out, I immediately put the rudder hard over in the other direction. And let's make sure that those torpedoes miss. Meanwhile, I'm still trying to get the turrets around to aim at that Mutsuki, but it's just not going to happen. The Mutsuki starts to smoke, but he is still moving too fast. And yep, there are those torpedoes. So I chop the throttle, go full reverse to make sure that I stop and don't run into the torpedoes, which also has the effect of pulling this Mutsuki in closer than he intended. It might be AP, but it still hurts if it hits you and you got no armor. And yeah, this Mitsuki is just moving too fast, and he is not making effective use of his smoke. He should have doubled back, because what's he got? He just fired his torpedoes, so I don't really know what he's hoping to accomplish. The enemy New Mexico's fire, I can just largely ignore it. And yep, here he is. He's in secondaries range, and so my secondaries are opening up on him. I don't really need to designate a target because he's the only thing out here, but I do it anyways. Alright, and boom, there we go. Take the Mitsuki out and get the close quarters expert badge. Awesome. So now it's time to deal with this New Mexico. Take a few shots of my own, and what do you know? That Mitsuki left me a nice little smoke screen. So why not? I figure I can make use of the smoke screen now that I'm dropped out of line of sight, and I can use the smoke screen to get turned in and start closing the range, which is what I want. The Königsberg bailed. I haven't seen any sign of the other New Mexico, and right now all I've got coming at me is this guy. And hey, I honestly feel very comfortable brawling in a New Mexico. So let's close the range up. Let's get on it. Now at this point you can see our teams have both respectively just melted. Our other New Mexico and our Cleveland are sitting way out there on the D cap, while I'm tangling with this New Mexico over here on the A cap, which means I'm not going to be getting any support from our guys. Alright, there is the New Mexico, and yeah, broadside onto me. At this point I'm starting to get a real good feeling about this match. This guy is going to continue to drive broadside onto me. I've got nothing to worry about. Alright, taking some return shots, but he is not being, either his aim's not very good, or RNGesus does just not love him as much as he loves me. So at this point, full speed ahead, time to close the range and get up tight. Now, the name of this video is Right Way, Wrong Way, and the reason I wanted to post that up is I feel like I'm a pretty good New Mexico captain, and I'm trying to highlight that there's a right way to play in New Mexico and there's a wrong way. I'm going to give you a chance to figure out who's playing it the wrong way. So I don't think it'll be terribly hard. This guy continues to sail broadside into the A cap. I don't know why. It's already capped, so there's no real benefit to him. He does get behind the island, and so he's not taking shots at me, and he's not able to take any shots from me. I can't make any at him, so whatever. I'll keep pushing in. Our Cleveland just got taken out, which sucks, because that leaves our other battleship out there with no support. And now, hey, the Cleveland must have got off shots just at the right time, because he winds up taking out that Königsberg. So, what do you know? Here I am. I'm going to slip around the edge of this island. I'm fully expecting him to come right out from behind that spit of land. And I'm getting all my turrets turned around, getting prepared for him to come popping out from behind there. At this point, I honestly was still expecting to find this guy just broadside onto me, because, well, he'd been happy to run broadside to me every other time. But battleship captains, you have got to learn how to angle. That is something that you have to do if you're going to drive a battleship effectively, especially if you're going to drive a brawler like in New Mexico. So keeping an eye out. Figure if I do spot him, I'm probably going to spot him over one of these low points, and there we go. There he is. Oh, he's actually angled a little bit. Not really that tight, so I still managed to get a penetration on him, as well as an incapacitation. So I start turning bow in because I expect his return shots. Takes out one of my turrets, which is, yeah, unpleasant. But I pop the repair, damage control, and get my turrets all back up. Now he's turning broadside, and I'm turning broadside somewhat. And yeah, maybe not the best thing, but I don't want to get that close to him. Now, you see there, I lit him up and I managed to get an incapacitation. Yeah, I managed to take out his forward, one of his forward gun turrets. So at this point, I notice I've got a very strong advantage over him right now. I can get two turrets pointed at him. He can't get any at me. But I am starting to get a little nervous, because when ranges get this close, if an enemy battleship captain feels like he does not have the advantage anymore, it is not at all uncommon for these guys to try to ram you. So at this point, I feel like there's a ram coming, and I don't want to expose my broadside, but I'm only exposing my broadside to 3 guns. And if I get hit in a ram, I'm toast. So I am turning it over, cranking the engine up, trying to make sure I get some distance between me and him. Also, try to get my ship angled before he gets those rear turrets aimed at me. Take a partial penetration there, 2100 damage, not too bad. And our secondaries are lighting each other up. Now at this point, I am pretty strongly angled once again against his guns. And I get them down there, aim for the waterline, try to finish this off as quickly as possible. Pull the trigger, and boom. 4 penetrations. His bow turret is out. He is hurting bad. Boom, another volley of good hard pins, and pop them. Good night. So you can see what happened there. You've got one New Mexico being driven decently, and the other New Mexico who is just not being driven very well at all. End result, he goes down, I'm fine. As you can see, we started off that engagement with both of us at almost nearly identical health. I walk away with about 20,000 left. So I definitely gave much better than I took in that. So following that, I get the fire out, and now we're going to speed things up a little bit because this involves a lot of 20 knot cruising. I head over to grab the A cap to try to stop some of the hemorrhaging on tickets, and at this point I'm trying to decide where's that enemy New Mexico being. Where is he headed? I got to imagine that he's headed towards the B cap. He's got to be headed there to try to cap it, get the points. So that's where I'm going to go. If he's swinging down south to try to intercept me, assuming that I'm going to go for the C cap, I don't know. We're going to pass in the night and there's not much I can do, but at this point, we'll probably still win on tickets. So really, that's my best bet, I think, is to head down towards the B cap. And going back to real time, trying to swing around this point of land, but not too tightly. I want to have some room to maneuver. And I'm just looking for him. I am hoping that I'm going to find him because I would definitely like to get in some final shots. I never really like winning on tickets. I'd rather take it down to the wire and beat them the good old-fashioned way. So I'm spotted, but I don't have eyes on him yet. But he's definitely capping the B, which is good news for me. Get my spotter aircraft away. Oh, incoming. Here we go. There he is. And he is much better off than I am. But all I got to do is get, yep, there we go. One hit, and the cap is reset. At this point, game's pretty much over. Unless he can detonate me, there is nothing he can do to win this game. So, shots out. It's just time to try to farm a little bit more damage. So, start turning into him. Get out of the broadside. I don't want to take any more. I don't want to give him the opportunity to detonate me. So his shot's out, but there we go. Tickets tick down, and we win. All right, so not a bad little result. 98,904, almost 99,000 damage. This was obviously during more than a few bonus events, so 5,200 XP is not normal. But as you can see, I finished top on my team by a pretty good margin. Not bad. And as you can see, I took out almost that New Mexico all by my lonesome while finishing off some of the rest of those ships. Did a good amount of damage. Very happy with that result. All right, guys, that about wraps it up. I'll see you next time.